Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We do have live tournament action coming at you. Very, very pleased to be bringing you the finals in tonight's AGL. It is our monthly tournament. We have got myself, I am Knack, and Sc2 on the line with me. We're going to be casting this sucker up. Sc2, how are you doing, brother?
I am doing just great. I'm really excited to get through these AGL, these finals. Wednesday we went through the AGL, the lower brackets. Some really exciting stuff. I was following Liquid Chef on the way through with Python, and I know you and Wendy were going through other parts of the bracket, and that was just some really exciting stuff. Really excited for these finals. cZaseohyeon versus uGpSS. Such a good matchup here. TVP.
Oh yeah. Well, both of these guys are brilliant. We've seen so many games from them in the past. cZaseohyeon, I mean, he's absolutely phenomenal. He's relatively new to me. I've only seen him a couple times, but SS, I'll tell you, time and time again, this guy has taken down our pro tournaments, taken down our open arena tournaments, and it's like undefeated the entire time. And he's just an amazing player. It is going to be a Protoss versus Terran. It is on Antigua Shipyard GSL's version, which does force the cross-position spawn here, and so I'm expecting to see a pretty nice standard opener from both of these players moving into this one. But Sc2, tell me, from what you've seen from Hyun, I mean, what do you think he's going to be going for here versus Protoss, especially considering we're here in a best-of-3 final?
So cZaseohyeon, I've seen some absolutely stellar play from him. I actually model my new TvT after what I've seen him do.
Oh, wow.
He does a lot of really brilliant play. It's kind of like 1-2 punches. Like the first punch, you're like, it's not exactly going to kill anybody, but it's going to set him up so that the second punch gets a beautiful sucker punch and just absolutely destroys the opponent.
Wow.
Generally, it's typically tactically made so that the second punch has no counter to what the first punch killed.
Right.
He just has some absolutely beautiful play. His micro is beyond amazing, and everything that he does is just been amazing stuff. Meanwhile, uGpSS, I've seen him a couple of times. He's a really solid player. He's got some really heavy micro, if I remember correctly. He's got a little bit of good decision making here and there, and he really loves to expand, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
so
he does.
I'm really excited to see what he's going to be using on Antigua Shipyard, since he's got these cross map positions.
Yeah. Now, another thing, though, about SS is that some of the time you will see him go for a one-base play. If he gauges his opponent as weak, he will go for one-base play. He actually told me, I tried to ask him, I said, why did you go a one-base play on a certain match? And he said that he felt like his opponent was weak, and the best words that he could use for me, but felt like his opponent was weak and said, I'm going to try and take this down off one base. So he's one of those guys that really depends on his scouting as to what he's going to end up doing in the long run, which is kind of an interesting play, as well as I think the best way to be playing in a tournament setting. You really want to make safe plays and try to make the best decisions based on what you see in game, and that I think we're going to see exactly that from him. We've got cZaseohyeon taking an expansion right now. Do you like this choice from him? It's relatively early here.
Absolutely. This is the Macrorax build. There's going to be no gas for a little bit, probably around the 6-minute mark. So he's going to be grabbing 4 Raxes down. He's going to get that bunker up there, and he's going to just start getting that econ build. Now, if we look at uGpSS, however, he is actually going for that one-place play you was mentioning before. And with a best-of-3, you can really scout out your opponent's skill level in the first match,
right?
Without absolutely sacrificing the whole round.
Right. Yeah, it's so true.
So we're starting to see some a Twilight Council go down. It looks like he's trying to fake a Nexus out here, or he might actually go for the Nexus. Yeah, it looks like he is. It looks like he's going to be going for some Blink Stalker play behind this one-gate expand. Yeah. Very interesting play so far. Oh, Templar Archives instead.
Oh, wow.
This is absolutely unexpected play. But this is actually quite beautiful because cZaseohyeon is going to be stuck in his base for a really long time. Macrorax players normally, that is a gasless expand with 3 to 4 racks afterwards,
right,
generally don't move out of their base anytime soon until they get stim and double medevacs.
Right,
so
that is very delayed because they don't get that early gas out. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, quite true. So this is actually really interesting play to see how both these players are going to be going out. We see cZaseohyeon going for very standard play, whereas uGpSS is going to be able to get some unstandard stuff off because he's just so used to such standard play.
Yeah, and it feels to me like ChargeCon at this point. I do expect him to probably toss down Charge here in just a little while and probably even grab Psionic Storm out, but Maybe not. I mean, the interesting thing about Charge Lot Archon is that you can produce quite a few units off of, quite a few Archons and quite a few Charge Lots off of, like, say, 7 or 8 bases, or 7 or 8, gateways, which you normally wouldn't have on just 2-base play. Usually you're going to be talking, 6, maybe at most 6 or 7 gateways. But if you're going Charge Lot Archon, you can support quite a few more gateways sometimes.
Actually, I'm thinking that this is actually even more brilliant than I was thinking it was before. If he gets Psionic Storm against some Macarax, now here's like where the brilliance I was just realizing comes in. If you grab Psionic Storm and the Terran player attacks before Psionic Storm actually even finishes, he can morph these Templar into Archons.
Right.
And since he saw the Macarax, we're gonna know it's gonna be a purely bio army coming out after him. And with those Archons, he can pretty much tear apart any type of bio army that comes at him, because A, Archons are massive, so they're not actually slowed by any type of Marauder concussive missiles. And not only that, but Archons do bonus against biological, and they do AoE damage. So unless that Terran splits up his army hugely, those Archons would be absolutely super effective.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, because it looks like he is going to be able to get stim before any type of Terran push-out.
Yeah.
And he's got this Stalker here just waiting for any type of Terran movement.
I know,
And
it's lovely.
Absolutely in charge of this entire match from here on.
Yeah, and we do have Storm about to be complete. Notice he is grabbing Charge out as well, but notice on cZaseohyeon's side of the map here, he's going for a 3rd base here very quickly. He's really going for this heavy eco play, and it's kind of interesting. He's got pretty solid defenses here with those double bunkers, plenty of Marauders out on the field, but he does not have quite the upgrades that he needs, like we're saying, and here it is 9.5 minutes in, and still kind of shy on the upgrades for these units.
And look at this. uGpSS is also storing up all these High Templar. He's going to have so much energy for Storm as soon as he wants to move out. But cZaseohyeon, he's playing a standard build. And that's the great thing about a standard build is that, if you've played it enough and it's standard enough, you're going to be able to get ready for anything. You're going to know the build inside and out. If uGpSS is just kind of, making up this build as he goes along or whatnot, there's going to be a little bit more difficult if, cZaseohyeon's got the absolute standard play going down.
Right. Look at this, man. He's got 8 gateways down, and he's going to start moving out across the map here. This is crazy town. So we've got a forward pylon going down in the center of the map. Go ahead, man. I cut you off, but I do apologize for that. But this is going to be a crazy attack here. I'm pumped to see how this is going to go.
Yeah, no, I was just going to completely agree with you. This is going to be an absolutely crazy attack. Now, cZaseohyeon did grab that Ghost Academy, so if he does grab any of those ghosts, he's going to be able to EMP those High Templar.
Yep,
and we've got a lot of bunkers
right
that
now
don't take any damage from Archons. But if he's smart, uGpSS is going to hide those High Templar way back before those until those bunkers are busted. And as soon as those bunkers get busted, he's going to be in an absolutely beautiful position. Now, cZaseohyeon is grabbing this Ninja 3rd over here, already set up, already deployed, and it's going to be in the main of the top right-hand corner. So that's actually going to be pretty safe unless uGpSS gets a really lucky scout off on it. I couldn't agree with this play anymore because he's built this huge wall, and it's such a great advantage point right here up the ramp against the Protoss player.
Right. Yeah, it's such a beautiful play. We do have a drop coming out here from Yeon. It's headed up to the top side of the map. Looks like he's headed that way just in case he does need to go, for a defensive maneuver at this position, which I think is smart. He's trying to cover, 2 bases at once. But he's getting a scout out with his factory right now as well. He does see the 3rd going down for SS, but SS is beefing up his army in this forward position, and I'm loving this. Notice he's got that +1 Protoss armor out. It's going to really enable these Zealots to tank a lot of damage from this heavy infantry while your High Templar do get into position, as well as allow those Zealots to perform a lot of damage on this little bunker wall off here for Yeon. And I think this is going to go very, very interestingly. But here comes your drop. It looks like it's going to go down in the backside of the main.
Now, yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised that didn't happen a little bit earlier. I was expecting that feedback and the storm, but it looks like it was a little bit delayed. So his map awareness could be a little bit better, I think, in that respect. It looks like there is a second drop now going down. It is going to get feedback, but there is storm going down. But that's not going to be too effective against these Marauders. And it looks like there is going to be an Archon warped in as well as a couple of Zealots. So that's going to be able to clean this up pretty quick. And with no Forbs there, this is actually going to be a little bit of a loss for the Terran player. Meanwhile, we have Archons and High Templar and Zealots just building up here in the middle of the map. We have +1 already done, +2 just about to be finished up for the armor. So those everything in this army is absolutely MMM killer here.
Yeah.
The +2 armor is going to make those Marines even less efficient. The 1 sentry is going to be able to get those Guardian Shield up, which is going to make the Marines even less efficient. They're going to be doing 2 damage per shot.
It's going to be beautiful.
Given upgrades. The ghosts are coming in now, but whether or not the ghosts are going to be able to save this in time is absolutely not up to the Protoss player. I mean, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah,
Those
it comes down to
have
micro.
amazingly huge range shots, and be really lucky for the Terran player to get a really good advantage on this next coming
Well, and
engagement.
notice what SS is doing. He's got 12 high temps out, but he's keeping them split. So if some of these guys do get that EMP, then some of them will not. And that means that he's still going to have plenty of storms at the ready, and then he'll also still be able to morph in plenty of Archons. Notice the scan going down does reveal that kind of unit composition there. And it looks like Hyeon is wanting to move forward here just a little, but I think SS may take this opportunity to go for his push.
Actually, I really like this out of Seo-Hyun, because now he's positioned these little ghosts. If they don't get scouted, he can now pincer off those High Templar, and he can get a really good hits off in the back, because High Templar are slower.
Right.
And because they're slower, they're not going to be able to get as good movement around. Actually, it's very common for Protoss players to try and have to move their whole army back to keep protecting their High Templar, just because of how slow they are, right. Especially when charge finishes up and the Zealot's passive speed actually increases.
Right.
Now, Seo-Hyun's also grabbing a he's grabbing a 4th and 5th base currently. His 4th base is already up, so he's going to be having a really nice macro advantage right now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this incredibly scary army in the middle is just moving around, and that's going to be giving Seo-Hyun a little bit of a heart attack every single time he sees it move.
Yeah.
Because
stimming forward here. That was a preemptive stim, and look at that. Some EMPs going down. They do take out all of those shields, but look at the storms.
The storm's coming in. They're going to be doing a lot of damage, and it looks like he's going to be trying to take out the rest of his army. Oh, no. It looks like he's going to have to pull back. Both players are in very hurt positions right now. The Zealots have absolutely no shields left, and it looks like he's going to be pushing forward, but there's no energy on those medevacs. I mean, a couple of them have a little bit of energy, but there's just far too many Zealots. There's +2 armor, and those Marines and medevacs are not going to be able to survive this entire army onslaught. And it looks like he's going to be moving back into the bunkers. But, I mean, this is going to be a very difficult fight for uGpSS not to lose. And it looks like Seo-Hyun is going to be losing both his bunkers. Another great storm goes down by uGpSS. It's going to be cleaning up the rest of this army. The Archons are just absolutely still at full health. They have no problems cutting through the rest of this army. Here comes the rest of the SCVs moving in, and it's probably going to be GG for Seo-Hyun because he doesn't really have that much left. And the Archons are still just up there, and there's the GG. Wow, absolutely. Taking advantage of the immobility of a Terran player who goes for such a macro advantage.
Yeah, unbelievable play there. I absolutely love the feedbacks on those medevacs. Loving the storms. Game number 1 going quite convincingly here to SS. Though, so game number 2 will be headed, actually though, here in just a moment, it will be Hyeon's pick. So I'm interested to see what he's going to choose here for game number 2. But we'll catch you guys there in just a moment. Don't alt-tab, always alt-Starcraft. We'll catch you guys then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We've got that live tournament action coming at you right now. Looks like a couple people are requesting that I turn the game sounds up, so I will do here in just a moment, while Sc2 and his sultry sounds do give you our player spawn positions and let you know what is going on so far.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and spawning at the 12 o'clock position all the way from the void is our Protoss player, uGpSS, spawning as the red Protoss pieces. Spawning down at the 6 o'clock position, deploying, I should say, because we are the Terrans, we don't spawn like those slimy Zergs, is the blue Terran player, cZaseohyeon.
Beautiful game we saw in game number 1 between these two individuals. Absolutely phenomenal play from SS. He did control the game very well. Now in game 2, I expect to see Hyeon take a little bit more control of the game, type of thing. You know, he needs to kind of get in there, I think, and make SS try and respond to him instead of SS just forcing his opponent into what position he wanted him in, which is exactly what we saw. I mean, SS controlled the entire center of the map, just about the entire game. I can't even think when once, other than the 2 drops that we saw come down from Hyeon, that Hyeon actually had any actual map presence other than in his base.
Yeah, that's quite true. I mean, that's exactly what the Terran tries to sacrifice to get that econ advantage against the Protoss. You try and go for that even earlier expansion than the Protoss does with a 1-gate expand, but by doing that, you just sacrifice so much to the Protoss player, and it's almost a reciprocal of the PvZ that we normally see, where the Protoss try to forge fast expand and then try and gain back map control around late mid game. But we could see the same exact thing happens when the Terran player goes for such an expansion. Now, it looks like cZaseohyeon has learned his lesson. He's going to be going for a refinery first after he started building his barracks. So, the standard 12 barracks, 13 refinery. And it looks like he is not going to be going for that Macarax expansion again. And I can't recommend that anymore. He's already seen what type of advantage uGpSS is going to take it on, giving him just utter map control.
Yeah. Yeah, SS is the kind of guy who, when he scouts and knows exactly what his opponent's doing, he will do exactly what he needs to do to counter that. And so I think Hyeon in this game is going to be looking for a way to try and catch SS off guard here. Now, SS going with a pretty standard opener here. He did get a little bit of a scout off. I'm trying to figure out what he's thinking to do here. What do you think SS is going to be going for? I know that may sound a little strange since you are the pro Terran player, but looking at this Protoss player here, what do you think he's going to be going for?
The Protoss player is probably going to... he looks like he's still going to be going for that 1-gate expand, but he does have this nice little proxy pylon over here. Mm-hmm. It looks like the viewers are still saying that the sounds are a little bit dimmed. You might just want to increase that right now, because, that is actually a really nice part of spectating. I don't know if you did fix that already or not, sorry. Don't mean to impede. But, a Protoss player on this map, it's actually really nice to go for Colossus. Colossus actually can do a lot of damage. You can really bombard and contain a Terran player. But I take it back as we see that uGpSS is going to be going for a proxy Stargate. Now, that's actually also a very nice maneuver itself. But it looks like cZaseohyeon is actually going to scout it. What amazing game sense. He just is saying, you know what, I feel that there's going to be a little bit of meta going on here from uGpSS. Since he already won the first game, I'm going to make sure that there's going to be nothing unexpected. And it looks like he did scout the unexpected. So he's going to be actually in a pretty good position to be ready for that already. He already has a starport underway. I don't think he's going to switch it over with this tech lab. He's going to grab that Viking, I'm sure of it. Make sure he's going to be pretty safe against any type of void race. But uGpSS, he's going for that unexpected stuff. He's got the 3 gates behind this. They're going to be finishing up as soon as Warp Gate finishes up as well. It looks like he was going to go for a proxy pylon and warp up on the high ground with that high vision from the air unit. But it looks like this is going to be shattered, as if we were on Shattered Temple now.
As if. Unbelievable. But here comes a detachment of Marines. These guys will be able to do some serious damage to this position. Going to unpower this building. Very, very wise maneuver here. Here comes your first warp in. Is he going to be able to hold on here? That is the question.
Oh, but now the Stalkers are going to be engaging these Marines, and the Marines are outranged quite severely by Stalkers, but using the bush to its advantage. I really like this play, and the siege tank is already out. He's making his way over here. He's going to be poking in and then walking back. I think he could... actually, I kind of like that, because he's playing a little bit safer now. And it looks like the second pylon is now going to be going down. It's going to be finishing up the rest of that Void Ray as the Terran player is moving back towards his base. We do have Medevats coming out instead of Vikings. Now, Vikings do plus against armor... Wow, my speaking today. Do plus damage against armored units, and since the Void Ray is already armored, it actually takes out a Void Ray pretty quickly. Yeah. But it looks like he's going to try and nick it in the butt. No, it looks like he is not going to be successful, and now it's going to be caught in a really awkward position as here comes uGpSS, and it looks like he's going to be able to cut off the rest of the Terran player unless there's some really good play here. Now, there's a couple SCVs going to be using themselves as meat shields, but these Zealots are absolutely cutting through the rest of the Marines, and there's GG from cZaseohyeon, caught out of position once again.
Unbelievable with the scout too. This is the test of a build here. Is even if it's scouted, can you still win with it? And that's what we see with this proxy air. It looks like SS knows exactly what to do. It came down to micro there, but that is unbelievable play. That means SS will be absolutely in the grand finals here. Now cZaseohyeon does need to go into the losers bracket for the moment. We're going to be going into that game. He will be taking on Mankiw, also known as, what did we say? I can't remember. We'll get it in just a moment. But Mankiw, going to be taking these guys on.
Storm.
Oh, that's right. Storm Devil, or Devil of the Storm. So that's going to be an interesting match. Stick around. We'll be there in just a moment. Don't alt-tab. Always alt-Starcraft. We'll see you guys then.